Well, hello everyone. My name is Rick Passek, I'm FlyFish Fanatic, and welcome to my tiny bench. Today, another continuation on the Chironomid series that I'm doing. This will be the third pattern. I've already done a bloodworm. I've already done a classics pheasant tail bodied chironomid, and this time it's going to be a snow cone style with a double rib. A little bit different, but something that I've been using for a while. I mean, there's so many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of patterns out there for chironomids nowadays. But this is one I've been using for a while that it worked for me. So today we'll start off in the tying vise with a Mustad. Where are we? Sorry guys. C53S in a size 14. It's a curved white bead, just to suit whatever size you have for hook. Going to be using some red holographic small for a rib, as well as some Mirage Tinsel in small for a rib. And for the main color, main body, Semperfli Nanosilk in black. So we'll start it off by, as always, waxing your thread. Start right behind that bead. Get that tied down nicely. You want to keep a fairly thin body as much as you can, especially in the back end. We're going to be building a taper obviously up to the bead, but you want to keep it fairly flat. So every once in a while, just give your thread a counterclockwise spin to flatten it back out. Okay, I'm going to go back as far as I want my body. That's about it right there. So I'm going to turn back around, come all the way back up. Now I could have put the stuff on, the ribs on right away, but I wanted to put a base layer of thread down. It just helps with things holding, right? So I'm going to take my, doesn't matter which one, in this case it's the red, and I'm just going to tie it on a couple, pull it back so it's out of the bead there. Just lay that out of the way. Take my Mirage, lay it in there. Again, it doesn't matter which one you do first. Sorry, just there we go. A couple of wraps, pull it so it's out of the bead. Okay, and once they're both in, just hold them together. And it can be open wraps here just to get them down to where you want it. And go right down to there. Then I'm going to counterclockwise spin my thread, flatten it out. Do that a few times just to keep that thread flat. Sorry, my fingers are in the way there, but kind of got to hold this hook. Not a big fan of these hooks. I'm going to try to find a different manufacturer that makes this shape. I don't like the Tiemco ones. I find they bend really easy, and these Mustad ones aren't much better. I did hear from somebody that Partridge makes one, so I'm going to check that out. But I know this is probably one of the most popular chironomid shapes, this hook, so I like tying chironomids on these and on scud hooks like the Hens BL 599. So right now all I'm doing is I'm just going back about 3/4 of the way and then forward, and then back halfway, and then forward, and then back 1/4 of the way, and then forward. And every time I come forward, I give it a flattening spin. This time I'll go about half. Just creating that little bit of a taper. Okay, and flatten spin again. This time only about 1/4 of the way down and back up. Now I'm going to do another flattening spin, and this time I'm going to go all the way back and all the way forward. All the way back. All the way forward. Okay, so now I'm going to take my opal and I'm just going to do a rib all the way up. You got to be a bit careful with this stuff because it is slippery on the thread, right? So it sometimes doesn't want to stay really nicely, but that's okay for now because we will be coating this fly. So just got to be careful when you're using it now. So that this one here, I'm going to give a couple of turns right at the back end, create a little bit of a red butt, and then I'm just going to follow right beside that opal or mirage tinsel, right beside it. I don't want to cover it, I just want to go right beside it, right? So it looks like a double rib, which it is. Okay, and nip that off. Give it a whip finish. Nip this off. Okay, so now take whatever kind of UV you like. I'm going to be using the Semperfli No Tack. I'm just going to put a tiny little dab on it to start. And get my bodkin and spread that out, especially start at the front here, around the bead. Get that all nicely covered. You want to cover all this the tinsel wraps, right? Because the tinsel is the weak spot. So you definitely want to cover that. I'm just cleaning off the bead, making sure there's nothing on the bead itself right now. Okay, so that's not bad. I'll do another layer after this. So just hit it with your UV light. Put another tiny dab right up at the front here. Just going to let that kind of drain down. And hit it with my UV light again. Then I'll take it just for a final coat because I just like having this final hardener on it. I put just a real thin layer of Sally Hansen's Hard as Nails or Hard as Hull, whatever you can find, or whatever other you like. Another one that I did a coatings review there a few months back. Another one that I found that I really like. I don't know if you can find it very easily, but this one here, this Witchcraft Rock Solid. I did a coatings review, and that one works really well actually. So, but yeah, there's your finished Chironomid. Let that one dry, and but you can see it's got that really nice two rib look to it. It's got that pearlescence coming through, the black, the pearlescence, and the red. Sometimes what I'll do is on the front end of it, right behind here, I'll put one extra or two extra wraps of red as well. Instead of just ribbing up to there, I'll actually use that last little bit of red rib and just give it a bit of a red head-ish area. So, alrighty. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you did, give her a thumbs up. If you've subscribed, thank you. If you have not, consider doing so. Once we hit 1,000, we'll be giving away a copy of my books and a bunch of flies that I've tied on this channel. So yeah, spread the word, let everybody know, and tie lines.